Hey YouTube, what's up?
Let's see what happens.
Are you mirrored?
Let's write.
It looks mirrored, right? It looks
I
mirrored.
think it is mirrored, right? Because you see on the, you see my hand. I have my left hand is right, or I think it is mirrored. Like right, yeah, right on the board, just to test. All right, this bottom one says hello. That one says ole. Could you just write backwards the whole time?
No, I don't. We're live
Okay,
on YouTube.
we are live. Yeah, we're live now.
But I'm gonna
So-
switch the camera around.
Yeah, we can start with our general banter.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, before we write on the whiteboard. we
Yeah,
can,
before we
sorry,
whiteboard.
There's the view there.
I think on the Facebook as well. Here we are. We're going. We're going.
Yeah, we're gonna need your computer open for that, because just in case
Oh,
people comment. We
okay.
were not late.
Yeah, we were not late, so good. I guess we'll have to just check that every once in a while to see. And
Ooh, that is a reflective surface, this shiny box that we have here.
it's true, very shiny.
So how you doing, Mark?
It's okay. Oh, I'm doing well. It's been a good week. It's mid-May.
Mid-May,
so
May
mid-May,
17th.
May 17th,
Yeah.
mid-May. Yeah, it's
We
been good.
were keeping up with the same shirts.
Yeah, yeah, if you zoom in, right, I think maybe, like, my dots are much bigger because...
Your dots are bigger, but I do have dots.
I won the dot award, so I get to wear the bigger dots.
Yeah, Mark has bigger dots.
I have bigger dots today, but
Speaking of,
it's okay if you have small dots.
it is okay if you have small.
Yeah, small dots on your shirt. I don't know. Actually, I told my kids about sarcasm today. Yeah,
Your kids.
yeah, my student. Oh, yes, yeah, I always say my kids.
I always call them kids.
My
too.
students. Right?
All students are kids.
All students, right?
All students are kids.
But yeah, it's funny. In English, often people say what they don't mean, or they're joking,
Sarcastic.
sarcastic. Yeah.
Yeah, Mark, you look
Yeah.
really handsome today.
See, he doesn't think I'm handsome. Not even true. But
Hey yo, live example.
live example, right? It's good.
Mark has some news.
Yeah, I do have some news. I went on a really nice vacation last week. I went to a place where they have delicious food. I went to a place where I got to go to the onsen.
Onsen.
Onsen, hot spring. Yeah, so it was a beautiful place to go on vacation, called Japan, right? Japan. Or if you know Kyushu, it's a place in southern Japan, right? Actually near Seoul, or near Seoul, Busan. If you go straight down from Korea, that's the area I was in Japan. So from Busan, right? You Koreans out there, if you go from Busan, you can take a ferry down to Japan, and you will go to a place called Kyushu.
Kyushu.
We saw many Koreans there. Right, my fiance and I we saw many Koreans.
My what?
My fiance,
Oh, because on the last live video, she was your friend.
yeah, so it's really escalated quickly.
Wow.
It's gone from friend to girlfriend.
Straight from friend to
Yeah,
fiance.
and then last week, I gave her a ring.
Not me. But
Yeah.
This is a ring.
I would have given him the ring, but yeah, his wife would be very angry. Right?
My wife would be angry.
Yeah, if I proposed to him, his wife would be very, very angry. So,
Yeah, I would be a little bit surprised.
a little surprised?
Yeah, I would be.
Would you
a
say
little
yes? Would
no,
you?
I would not. I wouldn't have said yes.
Yeah, we don't have the chemistry we need,
No,
right?
even though we do wear matching shirts
Yeah, I
most
mean,
of the time.
that's the first step, right?
First,
That's the first step. But yeah, no, but I picked my fiance. I gave her the ring, and she said yes. Yeah, so someday I'll be lucky like Matt and have my own ring, right?
I will only say nice things because I know my
Yeah.
wife will be watching this
Yeah.
at some point later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So,
So,
marriage is wonderful.
right. See that wasn't sarcastic, right?
No, not at all.
Wasn't sarcastic, right? So yeah, so that's the big news coming out of my life.
Yeah, Mark went
so-
to Japan.
Yeah,
Got engaged.
got engaged. That's it. But yeah, still busy month so far. Usually my months are just watching Netflix and working. So
But now it's
exciting month.
yeah, now you're getting married. So
Yeah, it's coming in the future.
lots to do, lots to do.
Lots to do.
I would say the only other
Yeah.
thing that we need to announce is the barbecue. You can see, see
Yeah.
here. We're
Oh.
having a barbecue party
Oh, yeah, on the corner,
on
yeah.
the 26th of May. So
Mm.
come one, come all. If you're a
Yeah.
student, if you're not a student, come. Bring your family, bring your friends,
Oh, right.
and drink some beer, eat some
Yeah.
good food.
Eat some good food.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be fun. So, yeah,
Super
come.
excited.
Yeah, you can even just chat with us, chat with your other classmates.
Yeah.
Invite. You can drink.
If
Right?
you drink.
Yeah, because when we are in class, we do not get to drink. Yeah, that would be very sometimes. Okay,
Depends on
maybe
the occasion.
special class, right?
Drinking class.
Drinking class. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, my class. We were talking about hard liquor today.
Oh, what's your
Yeah.
poison?
My poison. I'm fine with beer. Hard liquor is a little too hard for me. Right? It's a little too fast. Right? I like beer. It's slower.
I'm not a
So-
fan. I'm not a big fan of hard liquor. I'm
Yeah.
more of a water and beer guy.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's better.
I
Yeah,
think
better,
so.
better.
Yeah. Which beer do you like? Do you?
Beer, I like. What I'm trying to think of. Like here, I don't. I like Japanese beer a lot actually. Like Kirin, I like Sapporo, and then
Asahi.
yeah, and then in the U.S. I like Sam Adams. Europe, I like Guinness.
So those are all
Germ.
different beers.
They're all different. Yeah, I like variety. I don't like cider though.
You don't like apple cider?
Or not like cider like the.
Like apple cider? Like
Well, apple cider I like, but the alcoholic cider I don't like as much. I don't know. Weird.
alcoholic apple cider? You
Yeah,
don't like
well-
alcoholic apple cider?
Well, cider, yeah, cider is a type of the alcohol. Yeah,
Okay.
like hard cider, hard cider.
Like Summersby apple cider? Like you don't like that?
Yeah, I don't never mind. We're on a big tangent, but
We digress.
we'll digress. I guess we can get back to something grammatical. Gramtastic.
Grammar time.
Grammartastic. So
Mark's
I
going to
think-
teach today because I don't like teaching this topic. So
Yeah.
I'm passing it over to the big guy.
yeah, so what is it? They're called relative clauses, right?
Relative clauses.
Yeah, so we'll just give some examples and then we'll talk about how I'm doing with my examples, how we do, right?
This guy. I'm
So-
going to get out of the way.
We were
I'll
talking,
be right
yeah,
back.
we just talked about how I'm going to get married, right? So there are some things, right? There are many. Oh, maybe this one. There are many things that I need to do, right? So this one we're using the word that to talk about the things, right? The things
There are many things
that I need to do,
I
right?
need to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that works as an example, right? About
That's a relative clause.
yeah, the many things that I need to do. So we want to think about the things. Is it what things? The things that I need to do. Or I can do the same pattern. There are many new people who I want to meet. Right? So again, we have this idea of people, but we don't know what people. The people who I want to meet. There are many places that I want to go. There are many words that I want to learn. Right?
Yeah.
We're adding information about these words. They're not specific, right? People is not a specific word. People. So we want to focus on making something more clear or more specific, right? If I say the woman that I like has black hair, right? Yeah, the woman that I like. Which woman? That one, that one, that one? The one that I like, right? Or if you say the woman that I married,
Okay.
right? The woman that I married, is
from China.
from China, right? So Matt's wife from China, or the woman that I am engaged to is Singaporean, right? So we use these types of clauses. So clauses are pieces of a sentence, right? So like the who I want to meet, right? That's the piece of the sentence that we're using to add information.
That is
So-
the relative clause.
That is the relative clause, the piece of information that we're adding to make it more clear.
Just switching around the.
Oh yeah,
two
trying
lines.
to do that, right?
So it's not so clear.
Yeah. Actually, I do think these are useful, right?
Yeah.
If it's useful, like um, if you're at a party and you see, I say, like, who is that? Who is that? Oh, the woman who is wearing a green dress. Yeah. Who is the woman who is wearing a green dress, right? We're talking about, like, if I ask Matt, who's the woman who's wearing a green dress? I don't, like, which woman? What
That's
woman?
Sheila.
That's Sheila. That's Sheila, right?
If I say
Yeah.
who is the woman,
But yeah, who is the woman? We don't know.
not enough information.
Not enough information. So these phrases or these clauses are a great way to add information.
Yeah.
So now, would you add anything? Any other example, right? Or
Well, I
I
think
know this is a deep dive. You could talk about this for a long
I
time.
could
But
talk about this for a long time.
Yeah.
I would say the only thing that we need to kind of add are,
yeah,
in this case, we use, in a relative clause, we use
yeah. Oh, relative pronouns. Okay.
certain relative pronouns. Now my back is to the. My back
Well, that's okay. I'll let you go. I'll let you go for it. Yeah.
You know, who.
Yeah.
Just gonna erase some of
That.
this stuff
Who, where. Yeah, we'll make a list of relative pronouns.
here. Just erasing yours, Mark. Your beautiful.
That's okay.
Left-handed handwriting.
Not the most artistic. Not the
Who.
most.
Yeah, who we use for people,
Right?
which we use for
Right.
Things. where.
Yep. Where. For places.
There you go.
Places.
When.
When. For time.
1:30 is when we went live. 1:30 is when we went live. Okay. And the last most important one is,
Whose.
and we use this for
We call it possession or possessive.
possession.
Possession. Right? If it's, right? The man whose phone is,
Black.
whose phone is black, right?
Yeah. Whose
Right.
phone is black.
The teacher whose phone is black. There's my phone, right? The teacher whose phone is black.
Is Mark.
That's me. That's me, right? So if you, it's ownership, right? Or the.
So this, yeah, this is a, we could say, like, if you look at this barbecue party poster, we could say
Yeah.
the place where we are having the barbecue is East Coast Park, right?
Yeah.
Place,
Right.
of course, this is not so, I would just say we are having a barbecue at East Coast Park, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
the
okay.
place where we are having a barbecue,
Yeah.
not necessarily that common, right? It's not necessarily that common, so. I can say to Mark, like, hey, remember I was telling you how I met my wife? Oh, that is the restaurant where I met her, right? That is the restaurant I met her. So in that case, that's where it's going to be a little bit more natural, right?
Okay.
That's where it's going to
Like
go.
a situation where you want to add clarity,
Right.
right? Yeah, where you want to make that distinction, make it clear for your listener the exact thing you want to say, right?
Basically, a defining relative clause. A defining relative clause, it gives us essential information about all those things, right?
Yeah,
People, things,
about
places,
who,
times,
where,
okay?
yeah, all of these, right?
Okay. Things, etc.
Yeah, all of
So
those.
Japan is where Mark Japan is where Mark proposed. Okay.
okay,
Now this is essential because in this case this is the relative clause. Okay, and Mark said before, a clause is actually just a sentence that has a subject,
Yeah.
a verb, and an object.
Just a piece, yeah.
Yeah, or it's just a sentence or a sentence fragment, but in this case,
Yeah.
right, if I just say Japan is,
What? Yeah.
there's not enough information, so I need to talk about why am I talking about Japan. I can say Japan is a country, I can say Japan is a cool place,
Yeah.
but in this case, we're talking about Japan is where Mark proposed, right? So this is the relative clause, where Mark proposed. Okay, that's the relative clause. Okay?
Adding that piece.
So I can say, for example, why do we get where, right? I can say Japan is a country. Mark proposed there,
Yeah.
right? So this is basically why we use relative clauses, because we're trying to take two sentences or two pieces and squish them together, right? So, of course, Japan is a country, Mark proposed there, okay? Actually, this is where we get pronoun where, right? So we can just take these two sentences and push them together to make one sentence, okay? So
Okay.
that's pretty much why we would use relative clauses. The other way, right? I like that book is purple. Okay, if I want to combine these two sentences together, I would say I like the book,
The book.
which is purple.
Right?
So in this case, I'm just talking about the book and which, and that becomes the relative clause.
You have two pieces of information, you're adding information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you watched last week, we talked about articles, and the
There's the
specific,
Yep.
right?
That
It's a
book.
specific book. I like the book,
Yeah.
which is purple.
Just the book, which is purple.
Mark, does which sound funny to you?
So I always use that. And again, is that a American thing? No,
No, just,
just,
yeah, or who or which, we can use. We can replace with that
I guess it's personal preference for,
in the defining.
yeah, for a lot of people, so.
Yeah, maybe which,
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
sure. I'm not sure.
Okay, good, yeah, still there.
Yeah, I'll just pull it over.
Yeah, just pull it over.
Yeah, so that's pretty much a defining relative clause. I can go deep into,
Yeah, subtleties, right? The small differences and.
there's a lot of information that I don't want to go into. But if you do have any questions about this,
Yeah, you can ask below.
just type below.
Yeah, just English has a lot, right? So there are, you can use different grammar patterns thing, right? We can, if we want to keep this very simple, we just say Mark proposed in Japan, right? Or yeah,
Mark proposed in
yeah,
Japan,
Mark
or
proposed in Japan, or
Mark went to Japan and he
Yeah.
proposed.
yeah,
that's
Mark,
fine.
Mark went to Japan, proposed, right? So
It's
I
fine.
think don't worry about making the perfect pattern. I think just I mean, this is higher level. We teach this in intermediate level.
You might see it in pre-intermediate, but it'll be basic
Yeah.
like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want me to get into the deeper stuff, then you gotta ask
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Come
The-
down and ask me. I'll
the
sit down
deeper-
and teach you. But I think
Yeah.
we mentioned this before when our students are studying a grammar point like this.
Mm.
They go into like this vacuum of like, oh, every sentence must be a relative clause. So a pen is something which I use to write, right? No, I write with a pen. So don't try to overcomplicate your English. If
Yeah.
this is too difficult for you, then just stick to, I like that book, it is purple, right? It's kind of weird, actually a weird sentence. I don't know how many books are purple.
Yeah. But
Maybe
it's,
Rich Dad for
this
that.
is just another English tool. This is another way you can combine ideas together very clearly for when you are speaking or writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, yeah, don't over worry about, be like, Mark is the man who is my teacher. Mark
Yeah.
is my teacher.
Mark's my teacher.
Mark's my teacher. It's much clearer, right? When people are speaking, we do use this sometimes, just keep this grammar very simple, right?
Yeah, keep
Yeah.
it simple, but you know,
Keep it simple.
these are formal structures that you will see from time to
Yeah.
time in news or, you know, it's a bit more formal, it's a bit more formal language.
Yeah. And like I said before, the way I usually use it is when I want to add information that's more vague in my mind, right? The woman who, right? We add details about a woman, details about a building, right?
Yeah.
The building that is tall and has a blue sign, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
so now you just said the building that is tall,
Yeah.
but the building is a place.
Oh, no, no. So the correct grammar is the
No.
the build. Oh no, I'm confused now.
Oh, no, no, no.
I think I opened a new can of worms.
You opened
Yeah.
a can of worms. This is the last
Oh,
thing
no.
on the page.
The building. Is that still a relative pronoun or no?
Yeah,
It's
Well,
still a relative pronoun.
the issue is that sometimes a place is a place, and
And
sometimes a
sometimes-
place is a thing,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Or you could say place is place, place is thing.
So sometimes a place is a place, sometimes a place is a thing. So if we take like restaurants, right? We take,
Yeah.
okay, this is a restaurant, my,
Good restaurant. Right?
my favorite restaurant, right?
Oh.
Little 3D action there. Okay.
Oh.
This is my favorite restaurant, right? Let's say the, okay, so this is the restaurant. That's not enough information, right? Hello, people watching.
Oh.
This is the restaurant, okay? That's not enough information. I have to give information about the restaurant, okay? So I can talk about this restaurant as a place. I can talk about this restaurant as a thing. So I can use relative pronoun which, or I can use relative pronoun where. Now, I can get into the intricacies
Yeah.
or the
All
why it's a
details.
subject or something like that, but
Mm.
I won't jump into that right now. But this is a restaurant where I met my wife. Okay? This is the restaurant where I met my wife. I would say something like, I met her
There.
there. Okay? I met her. So this is the restaurant where I met my wife. If I'm just pointing at the restaurant, hey, I met my wife there. It's fine.
Yeah.
Right? I met my wife there. Okay, so again, where and there are similar. So in this case, we're talking about the restaurant as a place, which is why we
Yeah.
use there. But if this delicious pizza, okay? This restaurant has delicious, no, it's as a place, a thing. So this is the restaurant which has pizza. Okay? I can't say where has delicious pizza. It's actually a very common mistake. Okay? This is the restaurant which has delicious pizza. So if I look at the sub or the sentence before that, it or the restaurant has delicious. Okay? There's no there. Right? There's no where, there's no saying it as a thing.
Okay.
This thing delicious
That's a
pizza,
thing, yeah.
not the place.
Okay.
Not the place. Hey Kanako, thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Great English lesson for you.
Yeah.
Right? So this is the restaurant.
Mhm.
Okay, we can say as a place or as a thing, right? Where I met my wife. Now, how I always teach
Both.
my students
Both
if I'm going
Yeah.
to hack English,
Yeah.
okay, and you're taking a test or something like that,
You want to choose which one?
look for the object. If there's an object after the relative pronoun,
Mm.
we're talking about a place. Now I can get into the object subject and
Yeah.
The relative pronoun is the object of the sentence or the subject of the sentence. I don't. Here, there's no subject. Actually, which is the subject. Okay. So in this case, we don't use it. Here, where is the object? Okay. Which is the something that's too complicated.
Yeah. Yeah, don't maybe stop.
Do you have a question?
I'm a little curious. Like, I actually don't know the full explanation for this either. Where, if you changed it to that, you could say, "This is the restaurant that I met my wife in." If
Yep.
you add, or that I like to go to.
In which I met my
Yeah,
wife, right?
in which I met my wife. So,
Yeah, so actually where
yeah. So that's
is equal to in which,
where it becomes in which.
right? So
Yeah.
that is the restaurant in which I met my wife.
Right.
Actually, we shouldn't end the sentence
Yeah.
on a preposition.
And then you have the end. Yeah. So I think for speaking though, people often will use bad grammar.
So I'm gonna teach
Yeah.
everybody an idiom,
Idiom. Oh.
okay? If this is a swimming pool, okay,
Swimming.
now we're jumping into the deep end,
Okay.
okay? This is the deep end, we're jumping into the deep end. Mark is
Yeah.
asking deep questions.
Drew man into deep. These are even questions that, right? I'm a native speaker of English, but these are things where I use the language to say these things. So sometimes when, like, that's the interesting thing about teaching, you start to learn why like even your native language, you start to learn. If
Yeah.
you teach, like, if you are a Japanese person or a Korean person and you start to teach Korean, you start to learn that there are these very interesting ways that we use grammar and the way we change words, right, to change the way we say a sentence
Yeah.
based on the word choice.
I was talking to someone today and I said that exact thing, native speakers, generally speaking, don't understand the intricacies of grammar. There's a misconception, there's a kind of a false thought that all native speakers can speak English, so,
Yeah.
my teacher must be a native speaker, but no, your teacher must be a qualified and
Teacher.
experienced English teacher, because
Yeah.
12 years ago when I started teaching, I remember my boss said, okay, you're gonna teach present simple, and I was like, cool, what is that? I was like, I had no idea what present simple
Yeah.
was. I was fiercely studying
Yeah.
what I needed to study, and
All of our students know what present simple is, but you're right, before I started teaching English, things like present simple, present continuous, the perfect tenses, I had no idea.
this stuff.
Present perfect, like this, like this thing where the deep end, where we talked about like where versus in which, right? And the changing of the structure of the sentence, right? We have, like, in English, like, native speakers just hear it, and it's like, that sounds weird, right?
If it's wrong.
If it's wrong, yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
weird. Yeah, but we have, even native speakers have trouble explaining. That's why you have to really get an experienced teacher and gave us these little examples for 1 and 2, right? He broke it down into different sentences, so it's easier to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, more commonly I would say that restaurant has delicious.
Oh yeah, we had that in LA, that's just.
Come on, Facebook.
Nobody commented, right?
Nobody
Yeah.
caught the mistake.
Kanako, what are you doing? Yeah.
Delicious pizza. Okay, I
Delicious
can say
pizza.
that restaurant has delicious pizza. It's fine.
Yeah.
That is the restaurant which has delicious pizza.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna say that in my life. But if you're gonna be taking an IELTS test or a TOEIC
Yeah.
test or something like that, then you have no choice.
It's good to
You kinda
just-
have to learn. You have to learn this stuff.
Yeah, just be aware, and it won't fool you when you see someone writing, right? You won't be confused by it.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't want to get into non-defining
No,
language.
I think that was enough grammar for the day.
That's another.
Again, if you're watching, if you have any more questions or anything, this is the time to type things.
I see some people are watching.
Yeah, we have some people watching now, so.
Kanako's watching, but she actually joined it, which is great.
Yeah.
There's a few other people watching as well. Any
Yeah.
questions? don't be shy. We can't
Yeah.
see you.
I think we got, yeah, you could even
We
do,
can't see you.
there's some emoji game, right? Or what is it? I think
I don't know. Apparently, I have a camera.
you can add
I can
emoji.
automatically type hello or whatever.
Oh,
Maybe because
wow.
I'm using.
Maybe because you're that account. I can just do stuff like this, like I have a picture of a cat
Blowing a kiss.
blowing a kiss, I can comment,
Boom, there it is.
and boom, there's a cat blowing a kiss,
Blowing a kiss.
right? So that's the magic of Facebook, right? That's why we pay them the big bucks, right?
Yes, that is why we pay them the big bucks. So I've got 6% on my battery life. So
Okay.
you have that much time
To
to ask me a
ask
question.
anything.
Which is not real because actually this will also be recorded and we will post it onto our
Yeah.
Facebook page.
Yep.
So if you have a question, you can ask anytime.
Yeah.
And Mark, I'm Matt. Mark
This is Mark. Yeah. I'm Mark.
or Matt or any of our teachers who are watching, we will answer your question.
Yeah.
Or if you want to just send
We
us
like to
a,
help. Yeah.
a cat blowing a kiss, that's also good.
Yeah. You can. People show their love in many different ways.
They do. They do.
Some share their ideas. Some just share smiley faces.
Yes.
So, do you?
Mark, any last words on the stuff here?
I think that's about it.
Okay.
I guess maybe opinions, right? Like
That is
Well,
what I like to say.
the books that I like to read are all sci-fi, right?
Okay. No
Okay.
fantasy?
Oh, I mean fantasy, SF, so that's science fiction and fantasy.
Science fiction and fantasy.
Or the movies that I like to watch, the books that I like to read.
Yeah, the
right?
drinks that I like to drink.
Yeah, so
But again, it's.
but again, the books I like are you don't have to use these words specifically.
Yeah, we can get into omitting the pronoun and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it,
That's
Mark.
okay. The reason I chose this topic to talk about a little is because even my intermediate students, I showed them this, and for them, I think it was still confusing. Like, it's like, what is this? Why are we using this, right? And
Yeah.
I think today we tried to give you a little clearer explanation.
It's not
Yeah.
easy. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Mark, are you excited? Are you excited to get married?
Yeah, but again, future, so we're still planning. But I'm really excited because it means I get to see my family in America again, right? I'll go back and
Yeah.
see I have a big family in Pittsburgh in the United States, so I'll get to see them again and
Those Steelers.
their families, because that's the difficult thing living on the other side of the earth.
Or easy
Is-
thing.
Or the easy thing, right? Matt, you're like, this is a good thing. The easy thing or difficult
Just
thing.
joking, family.
Yeah, no, he loves you. He loves you. But yeah, that'll be good to see them. And like, just this thing about weddings is you just get to celebrate with the people you care about.
It's a big
So-
party.
It's a big party, right? It's a way to just say we're excited for your future and we want to support you. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's good.
All right.
So I am excited.
Okay.
So I guess that is it.
Without further ado.
Without further ado,
We don't want to
we will say our goodbyes and
Yeah.
we'll catch you next week. Again, if you have any ideas for what you want to learn about in the future, if you're in class and something is very difficult for you, or if you just want to learn about, a culture, a country, a grammar point, right? Anything, we can,
Phrase and idiom.
a phrase in idiom,
Anything.
right? Certain vocabulary, right? Similar words.
Why Mark wears
Yeah.
glasses?
Why, yeah,
You can ask us that question.
we have a whole history, right? So, all those things, you just comment right below. Again, we can't see you, we can't hear you, you have to type, message us,
Yeah,
okay?
if you're talking to your computer right now, then
Stop.
stop doing that.
Stop.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it.
Yeah,
So,
that's
nice swimming pool.
Mhm.
Mark, congratulations again.
Yeah,
Married Zara, congratulations.
and we'll talk to you guys again soon.
Yeah, bye. See you next week.
Bye-bye. Okay.
Say bye to
Okay.
YouTube too.
Say bye to YouTube.